Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Today I'm going to tell you about Queen Victoria. Queen Victoria was Empress of India. In 1897, Victoria Diamond Jubilee celebrations with the expression of supreme competence. She was Queen of Britain and she was Empress of subcontinent. Her empire, in fact, stretched all over the world. The British monarch survived a number of assassination attempts over the course of her life. One of the history's most iconic queens, Victoria was an era-defining figure whose fascinating life continues to inspire storytellers today. While you're surely heard of the long-reigning British monarch, there is plenty about Victoria that would still surprise you. Her first name was not Victoria. Oops. Wow. Born in Kensington Palace on May 24, 1819, Queen Victoria was originally named Alexandrina Victoria after her godfather, Tsar Alexander I, but always preferred to go by her second name or the nickname Trina. At birth, Victoria was fifth in the line of the succession for the British crown, behind the four eldest sons of George III, including her three uncles and her father, Edward. She was the first member of the royal family to live at Buckingham Palace. Amazing. Shortly after her accession to the throne, Queen Victoria moved into Buckingham Palace, which was previously owned by her late uncle King William IV. This made Queen Victoria the first reigning monarch to take up residence in Buckingham. Though her move did not come without its struggle, as the royal family website puts it, her marriage to Prince Albert in 1840 soon showed up the palace's shortcomings. The palace was in need of extreme renovations if it was going to be a family home, as Queen Victoria intended it to be. Victoria put in the work, adding an entirely new wing, and years later, Buckingham continues to serve as a place of royal business and the London residence of Queen Elizabeth. Queen Victoria was barely 5 feet tall. Well, the monarch was 4 inches shorter than Queen Elizabeth too. Queen Victoria became queen when she was 18. That's so interesting and amazing. Well, at 6 a.m. on June 20, 1837, Victoria was woken from her bed at 8 and informed that her uncle, King William IV, had suffered a heart attack and died during the night. Less than a month after turning 18, Victoria was a queen. Well, growing up, Queen Victoria was under constant supervision. Of course, she was a princess and she has to be under supervision. Less than a year after Queen Victoria's birth, her father Edward, Duke of Kent, the fourth son of George III, died of pneumonia, leaving the young princess to be raised by her mother. Following his death, Victoria's mother, Duchess Victoria, was prepared to rule alongside her daughter if Victoria's uncle died and she ascended to a throne before she was officially of age. For this reason, Victoria's mother used a strict code of discipline to shape the queen-to-be, later known as a Kensington system. It involved a strict timetable of lessons to improve Victoria's morality and intellect. This meant she rarely got to interact with children her own age because of demand on her time. Princess Victoria was under constant adult supervision and was also made to share a bedroom with her mother until she became queen. Well, another interesting fact about Queen Victoria is she was multilingual. She can speak a lot of languages. The young queen was an adept linguist, fluent in both English and German. Okay, so it means that She could speak English as well as Dutch. Her mother and governess both had German roots, so Victoria grew up speaking the language and later used it frequently when speaking to her German husband, Prince Albert of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha. The Queen also studied French, Italian, and Latin. Interesting. Towards the end of her reign, when servants from India arrived at Windsor Castle in 1877, her attendant Abdul Karim taught the Queen many Hindu and Urdu phrases to better communicate with her servants. I'm learning a few words of Hindustani to speak to my servants, she wrote in her diary. According to a book about a period, Victoria and Abdul, it is a great interest to me for both the languages and the people I have naturally never come into real contact with before. Queen Victoria survived at multiple assassination attempts. During her reign, several attempts were made at Queen Victoria's life, all of them unsuccessful. The first notable attempt was made in 1840 when 18-year-old Edward Oxford fired at the Queen's carriage in London. Oxford was accused of high treason for his crime and was ultimately found not guilty for reason for insanity. According to the History of the Channel website, two men tried to shoot her in 1842 and in 1849 her carriage was attacked by William Hamilton, an unemployed Irish immigrant who later pled guilty to the crime and was banished for 7 years. History reports 1 year later, Robert Pate, a former soldier, used an iron-tipped gun to hit the Queen in the head, according to Smithsonian Magazine. The final notable attempt took place in March of 1882 when a Scottish poet named Roderick Maclean shot at Queen Victoria's carriage with a pistol while leaving the Windsor train station. According to Time magazine, this was Maclean's eighth attempt at assassinating the Queen. Maclean was tried for high treason and was found not guilty but insane. So, Maclean was sentenced to live out his days in an asylum until his death in 1921. The Guardian reports, despite the cause and fear that followed the many assassination attempts, Queen Victoria became more and more popular with the public after each attempt. That's amazing. Well, another interesting fact about her is she proposed to her husband. Yeah. In the lead up to her 17th birthday party, then Princess Victoria met her first cousin, Prince Albert of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha. 4 years later, Victoria, now the managed, proposed to Prince Albert on October 15, 1839, and they were married on February 10, 1840. Wow! Clap. Victoria was deeply in love with Albert. Okay? Well, she began more than one popular wedding trend. Of course, it should be like that. Of course, she was a queen. And a popular Christmas one as well. Okay? She and her husband had 9 children, 9 prince and princess. Well, she became the first non-carrier of hemophilia, known as the royal disease. Okay. Queen Victoria was the first in her family to carry hemophilia B, a blood clotting disorder, but the Queen herself was not a hemophiliac. Oh my God. That's so sad. Because of Victoria's vast lineage, the disorder was passed on to the members of the royal and noble families across Europe. That distracting. A 2009 study in Science magazine even linked the hemophilia mutation to member of the Russian royal family, the Romanovs. Oh. Okay. The disease claims several of her descendants. Queen Victoria's son Leopold, the Duke of Albany, died at age 30 after he slipped and fell, and 2 of Queen Victoria's grandsons, Frederick and Leopold, also bled to death due to the affliction. It is believed that the royal carrier of the disease was Prince Vladimir of Prussia, who died in 1945, Science magazine reports. She was the first monarch to ride a train. This is very much interesting about her. The Victorian era was a time of the rapid technological advancement and industrialization. Electricity started to become more common, and photography became a popular medium, and rail systems spread across Britain. In 1842, Victoria became the first monarch to ride a train, according to PBS. The ride from Slough near Windsor Castle to Paddington in West London took about 30 minutes to complete. The 23-year-old Queen found the ride delightful and said, "The motion was very slight and much easier than the carriage." Sweet. Also, no dust or great heat. Okay. Well, she is the second longest reigning British monarch. Not long ago, Queen Victoria held the title of the longest reigning British monarch with a total reign of 63 years and 7 months. Record. In 2015, Queen Elizabeth II broke Queen Victoria's record and continues to hold it today. And now you can see Queen Elizabeth, 94, is still Queen of Britain. Well, Queen Victoria's name lives on all over the world. As the Queen of England during British imperial height, Queen Victoria inspired the title of the everything from lakes and mountains to cities across what was then the empire. From the 33 Victoria Roads in the United Kingdom to Victoria Park in the Bhavnagar, India, and to Mount Victorians in New Zealand, her name